Ladies and gentlemen, Guardians of the Boom Bap live in the neighborhood. What's good, fellas?
Peace, peace. What's good, brother?
What
Man,
up, bro?
I'm really good, bro. Just psyched to have y'all in the neighborhood, you know what I mean?
Indeed, indeed. I miss Portland. It's been a while since I've been there.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, man. Me and Amadeus was talking before we went on air, man, about the beauty of Portland right now. This is the time to be in Portland. We got the sunshine. We ain't got the rain. You know what I mean? Yo, the project Guardians of the Boom Bap is fire, man. It's such a great representation of the art form, and the title of the project, I think, is so telling in terms of who you folk are as creators. I guess I just want to start off with just saying, like, how did the connect happen? How did y'all link to even do this project?
Man, really, it was Instagram. Oddly enough, man, just being a big fan of his, and a lot of his music was making its way to my timeline, which I had heard of him before. I'd heard of the music before I knew it was him. And so, couple things came across my timeline, and we started following each other, and just kind of showing each other love. And I reached out originally, just wanted to do a joint, like let's do a song.
Mhm.
And then that led to a few songs, and that led to an album. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I tell my wife all the time, I feel like him and I have known each other forever, but really it's just been about a year since we connected. So one of the things that was kind of meant to be, I feel
That's,
like.
that's what's up, man. Divine Karama, Amadeus 360. I love that. And so, you know, the both of you guys have put out a ton of music over the last several years, right? But I wonder, Amadeus, as a producer, when someone reaches out to you and says, "Yo, let's build," how do you receive? Because I'm sure that people hitting you all the time, right? But how do you receive that, and
Every day.
how, how do you how do you look at an artist and know, okay, yes, this is someone who I feel like I can work with, who I connect with, who I just feel like is a real MC versus not.
Most of the time, when I get dudes that ain't that's not on the level of I've only dealt with celebrity artists. So when I do get a lot of guys hit me up, they're delusional. Um, I mean, people say like I'm being I mean, my resume is just is crazy. So it's like
Hmm.
at this point, like if you hit me up and I know you garbage, I don't even respond to you anymore.
Come on.
Usually those guys are hard to talk to.
Hmm.
They hard to criticize. They get in their feelings.
Hmm.
But Divine, I ain't had that problem with this dude. And that dude is just regardless of what anybody will ever say, I'm telling you, this dude is probably one of the best MCs I ever worked with. And he don't even know what I got. He just like what I tell him. I got cats on my music that ain't on none of my stuff. I mean, and I ain't gonna just say that just to be pushing no record. This dude is probably one of the illest MCs that I've ever worked with.
Mm, I
Hey,
love
I'm borderline jealous
Appreciate you.
because I can never rap like that. Never.
it. Yo, I love it. I love it. Guardians of the Boom Bap. So when you take those two pieces, a producer of your caliber and the work that you've done, and the music that you've put out, and then Divine, what you've done, to this point as an MC, um, why the
Mhm.
why the title Guardians of the Boom Bap?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it is, and I know a lot of people say this, but it's keeping that essence alive. You know, the game is oversaturated.
Hmm.
There's a lot of whack MCs. We seeing a lot of cross genres, and it's being labeled as hip hop, but it's really not. We're forgetting about the other elements, right? You got these Serato DJs, you know what I mean, and no not,
Hmm.
but you know what I mean. We can't forget our turntablists. We can't forget the graffiti and just the original elements of the culture. I feel like we're kind of losing in this kind of microwave TikTok era that we in, and so hearing his music and then knowing how I'm coming, I just felt like we're trying to preserve that foundation of what the culture meant to us. And really, if you ask people that's been around long enough, right, 35, 40, 50 years, what is your favorite era of hip hop? And a lot of people go back to that golden era,
Yeah,
that boom bap. And so we just trying to preserve it, man, do our part. That's it.
I love it. I love it. So there was a quote that I read, and I'm a paraphrase it, Amadeus. But you mentioned the fact that now you got these you have um, fast food type artists who are coming out, and I say it's a blessing and a curse that now anyone can set up a recording setup in their home and
Mm.
record something and then put it on SoundCloud or put it online and then pay for a bunch of likes and pay for a bunch of this, that, and the third. And they become artists, right? But putting in the work that you've seen artists put in for, for years and years, it gets tough sometimes, bruh. You know what I mean? It gets tough to be a curator and want to give everybody a platform because that's what people deserve. But my question though, Amadeus, is when you said that, in terms of the fast food creators, man, what did you mean by that?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Um, you know what? This technology allowed that, like you just said. I'm coming from the era with the dab machines, and in New York, you sitting in these basements in Flatbush
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, and everybody like worked really hard. I knew this cat. He had his whole little DJing set up in East Flatbush,
Mm-hmm.
and this dude worked like a security job. He ran papers. He worked at Golden Crust, all to buy that equipment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we living in this era now, where just anybody can get their hands on anything. They're making software that's very easy to use and let people just make whatever. And then you have to fight through all the BS just for your stuff to get heard. And I mean, all of the celebrity artists are going through this. It's not like, one thing I do like is it's nothing personal. Like, it's not like, I mean, I had a long talk with Havoc once, one day I was just chopping it up with Havoc, and we were discussing that. And even Havoc is going through this. Like, this is Havoc, the man that got named the greatest. Shook was got, what was it? Got named the greatest beat of all time. And I'm listening to Havoc talk. We're in this back room because I was at this shoot with Ice-T and a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a break in the, they were in there getting things ready at the video. So I had a little bit of time to talk to him and, chop it up because I bought one of his sample packs.
Mm-hmm.
And he was curious to know what I had made with some of his sample packs. And believe it or not, one of the sample packs was I used on our album
Okay. Okay.
for the Mobb Deep effect. But yeah, you listen to him talk, and Meth too. I was talking to Meth at one of the video shoots, and I asked him about like how they would promote this video, and he just was like, well, it does what it does.
Yeah.
And that's Meth talking.
Yeah.
So I can throw these names around like these are guys that are industry. These are the people that people love and have bought their music for years. And even they're baffled by what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And I don't like to talk about this because it sounds very redundant. We've had this conversation. I've had this conversation so many times. My album did great. So I've done a million of these interviews.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I get asked this all the time. And it sucks that you asking me this right now
Mm-hmm.
because it's worse than it was just 2 years ago. But just to answer the question in full, I get a little irritated, man, because like I've been blessed, but I'm a producer, so it's a little bit easier for me because I have a sound that I could go lock myself in my studio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and just cut people off.
Yeah.
But like Devine, he's a true rapper. He a true MC.
Yeah.
He what we don't have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to fight through all of this clutter.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? To let him be heard. And it's very frustrating. And it has nothing to do with me being a hater. I got paper, bro. I ain't broke. And my stuff, I get them checks every month. You believe that? So, when I say that, it's not hate, it's not jealousy, it's annoying.
Mm.
And it's disheartening because music comes from our culture.
Yeah.
You know, we black people, this is what we use to build ourselves up. And now I have to grow older and watch this very same music tear us down.
Yeah. 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 Facts. Facts. We chopping it up, man. Guardians of the Boom Bap. We got Devine Carama. We got Amadeus 360. Let's get into a joint, man. I'm gonna try to keep y'all for a couple of breaks. I want to get into this joint, the essence, and Devine, give you an opportunity to speak on this one, man, on what you did penning this one.
Yeah, man, this was actually the first joint that me and Amadeus did. Was this and Dug Down. And
Word.
so we did. I mean, he sent me Dug Down. I told him, I said, I want something like, give me something I can kind of tell my story, something a little more soulful.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me the beat, man, and the rest was history, man. To me, this is, and Amadeus will tell you, this is probably my favorite joint on the album. The beat just allowed me to really get intricate in how I was telling my story, just on the come up. And so, you know, beats, rhymes, and life, man. We keep it simplistic, bro.
That's what up. That's what's up. All right, y'all. We gonna get into this, man. This is the essence. The name of the project is the Guardians of the Boom Bap. You gonna get into the essence right here on X-Ray FM. Welcome to the neighborhood. Guardians of the Boom Bap. Live in the neighborhood. Hey yo, so it's interesting though that you mentioned Devine Duck Down as another joint, because I was gonna ask you about that joint. In terms of storytelling, bro, come on, man. That's the one. That's the one, bro. Like
Yeah.
real for real. So the crazy part is, as dope as a story and as um it's so, like, you could see it happening, the way that you pin that, it's so clear, which is dope,
Yeah.
but it's also a sad story, but also, and a very familiar story, right? That we've
Yeah.
stepped
Yeah.
over and over. And I wanted to ask, is that something that is that a part of your creative process, pulling from all these examples we've had through the years, or is that a true story?
Yeah, I mean, it's a true story, unfortunately, and in my work, my day job, you know, I work in gun violence prevention, so using things that I experienced as a young man to try to keep a lot of these kids from making the same mistakes, that's a story I know all too well.
Right.
You know, and so trying to use the shock value of that, like you say, the storytelling, documenting those stories to so people can see it. Because a lot of times, man, when you in these conditions, you don't even understand what you're up against. And so that is the beauty, like Amadeus said, of what hip hop means to us.
Mm-hmm.
We got to tell these stories and document it in a way where people can see it from the outside looking in, from a macro. And then that's where change could start or be inspired. And so, yeah, man, like a lot of the stories, really everything, you know, I think that's what makes me stand apart from a lot of MCs. I don't really do too much fiction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everything pulls from reality and what I've lived, and at the end of the day, when I die, you know, everything I put on paper, man, I want it to be the truth. You know, my kids are gonna hear this. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, that came from real life.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. We chopping it up. Guardians of the Boom Bap. We got Devine Carama. We got Amadeus 360 live in the neighborhood. The album is out. It's available for streaming right now. Man, forgive me. I should know the answer to this. Did y'all do physicals with this?
That's in the works.
Okay.
I gotta wait, see what the labels say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, the whole number crunch thing. They do that whole thing. I did it with I mean, my last album was, and I've done physicals 3 times. I did one for Dug Down
Yeah.
when I was signed to Dug Down with Rusty.
Yeah.
And then I did physicals with Turn with Rock Nation, SCDI Records, and then I did it on my last one.
Okay.
So we just gotta see, where this goes. Um, I'm thinking the cassette thing too, because that's a big thing with the kids. These kids love this cassettes. It's just wild to me.
Right. Things coming full
But
circle.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what's up. We one another thing that we were talking about before we went on air is just how people are receiving the project, and um, the reception has been fire. Things that I've seen online, I've seen people
yeah, yeah.
reacting the same way that I'm reacting. How it's just such a dope project. It's such a great representation of hip hop.
Thank
Now that the project is out and you guys are hearing the response, I know as a creative, you're always hoping that what you make hits people the way that you wanted them to. But I'm gonna ask, is this what you were hoping for? Is this what you were expecting? What you've heard thus far?
Um, I think so. And for me personally, like Amadeus said, he's worked with legends. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like
yeah,
all time great MCs, and so for him to, um, take a chance to work with a fairly unknown artist like myself, there was a lot of pressure on me to make sure that the project was good, and so the feedback we've been getting, it seems like people love it. And at the end of the day, we talk, every other day. That's what's most important. A project can have legs and last for a long time if it's quality. And so we feel like we put something together that's quality, and the feedback been great, man. So I'm happy with it.
that's what's up, man. Guardians of the Boom Bap is available anywhere you stream music right now. So if people, obviously people gonna hear it if they listen to this radio show, right? That goes without saying, hopefully. But if people want to tap in with you guys and learn if there's gonna be, if the cassettes are gonna drop, if they want to just stay up on what's happening with you folk individually, and follow the path, follow the journey, the things that you're doing in music and the things that you're doing outside of music. Devon, I'm gonna ask you first, man. What's the best way for people to tap in with you?
Yeah, the best part is probably Instagram. 40 holler at me on Facebook. But just catch me Devine Carama, Instagram, Facebook. And the album is up for purchase on Bandcamp as well, on Soul Spaz and Bandcamp. So if there are physicals, I'm sure Amadeus can speak to that. They might go up there. But if people want to purchase the project and support it a little extra, make sure they grab it on iTunes or hit the Bandcamp. But yeah, hit me on Instagram or Facebook.
That's what's up. And then Amadeus, same question, bro. People want to tap in with you. What's the best way to do it?
I mean, yeah, the album is the it's being heard. It's definitely being heard. I mean, I'm being consistently kept in the loop. Like especially iTunes. We're really up there high. The label really pushes more to iTunes, and it's never been Spotify. But this time they decided to push more towards Spotify, and it was interesting because I never really cared,
Mm-hmm.
and it's doing a lot of numbers. So whoever gets this album is worth it. You put Amadeus 360 producer in, and get my Instagram, but I got so much stuff. It's gonna be a million things come up. So yeah, hit me on the gram, TikTok. You know, want to holler at me? I'll keep you posted on what's cracking as far as the physicals, though. Like
That's
I say, we're still working that out because we just dropped the album.
right. That's right.
Took me a minute with the MPC Jedi, so and I had a lot of business things to work out. I had a million features on the album with a lot of famous rappers, so
You
I
did.
had a lot of business parts to work out before I did the album drop the physicals. But yeah, I'll keep people posted, man. You just go out there and Guardians of the Boom Bap. Um, Pay attention to what this dude is saying in them lyrics, bro. Like right now, I already know, not to be arrogant, bro. I mean, I got my accolades, man. I mean, I had the greatest producers, in the game. I work with P Rock. So I did this. I wanted this dude to be heard. I wanted him to be heard. And so I'm going to be a little frustrated with, I don't want to, just put it on me. This dude is a poet. And I was
Appreciate that, bro.
listening. I was listening on the plane on the way back today, and I'm like, what did he just say? I'm listening, still hearing, and it just, maybe that's how I translate in my own music as far as my beats. A lot of people feel that way, but I want him to be heard, man, no matter who's making the beat.
That's what's up. That's love right there, man. Guardians of the Boom Bap.
Appreciate that, Amo. Appreciate it, bro.
Devine Carama. Listen, bro, like I said, you definitely have a home here. Whatever you guys are continuing to create, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for what you're doing for this art form that I love. But
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
home here.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. Listen, I'm gonna send y'all out on this one, man. I'm gonna send you out on Hip Hop Commandments. You want to speak on that one right quick, Devine?
Yeah, really, the beat brought this out of me. Like, to me, this is probably the craziest beat on the album. This is getting a lot of great feedback. And then, Craig G is a legend, so I just wanted to do something that educated. You know what I mean? That's that unofficial fifth element of hip hop. Dropping knowledge. We can't forget that. And so, yeah, probably one of my favorite joints on the album too.
That's what's up, man. All right, man, we're going to get into this one once again. Guardians of the Boom Bap is available everywhere. You're going to be hearing more. I'll probably, before the night's over, who knows, I might end up playing the whole album. But anyway, go cop the album. Go support artists who are making great art. Go support this genre that we love called hip-hop. Devine, Amadeus, man, once again, thank y'all so much for coming through the neighborhood. But now, neighborhood residents, all you got to do is throw up the bat signal, man. I got a spot for you. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, peace.
All right, peace.
Here we go, y'all. This is Hip Hop Commandments right here. Guardians of the Boom Bap. X-Ray FM. Welcome to the neighborhood.